Hi, and welcome back to this final video in our series of for the Community Renewable Energy Grant Program, going through the key application questions and sections for the the construction grant applications in the CREP program. This will probably be a shorter video, and we're going to be covering section 9 for finances, and then just a quick run through on section 10, which is just the document checklist that are required to be in that application. And again, as always, just want to point out that if you're coming into this video and you haven't seen the rest of them, or in a series from our first one all the way through, please stop this one and go back. It'll be a lot more helpful to run through this in a series as this follows along with the application. And again, just wanted to say hello. My name's Jason. I'm one of the program analysts for the CREP program, and I'm going to be joined here with my colleague who's also an analyst with the program, Clay Deckert. And with that, just going to kind of jump right in to our presentation for these key questions that are in the finance section, and then again, the document checklist. So just jumping in, very important input piece here is going to be your anticipated total cost for construction. Now, I know we keep repeating ourselves here, but this is for the cost of construction installation of your renewable energy system, or that system with its resiliency component. We are not talking about a larger, broader project such as building construction, renovation, etc. And the question above the numerical entry point here is provide the anticipated total project costs. This is the actual cost of the acquisition, construction, and installation of a renewable energy system incurred by an applicant before considering utility incentives. I do want to go back into an earlier video. We made a note about how the applicant incurs costs, and if that applicant has partners, how they would need to create localized agreements, etc. So please go back and review that and in the program materials so that you understand how that process needs to work locally if you're a partner with an applicant. And in addition to this, what we'd like to see uploaded is you need to prepare a proposed itemized list of associated project costs using the provided categories in the question. There's a little bit more to this question that you're not seeing, and label each as grant eligible or ineligible. And we certainly understand that project managers are going to have a much broader, much larger, in whichever format you typically use, that's going to have detailed project costs in every single, down to each and every line item. We are looking at you to break those out in those categories that we have in addition to this question, as a part of this question, and then label those out. Clay, do you have anything that you'd like to add on this one?
No, I think you covered that. You covered that pretty thoroughly. I really don't. I just want to highlight that because it was missing in some applications in round one, that we have the total project costs, eligible and ineligible, and if you do it in a spreadsheet, off to the right, you have columns that are labeling those clearly as eligible or ineligible costs based on all of the criteria and rules of the program. Wonderful. And you can reach out to us anytime. And if you're developing applications, if you have questions, you can email community.grants@energy.oregon.gov. It's in all our documentation, and ask specific questions about exactly what we're asking for on these questions.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's great advice there. And again, just want to reiterate that there will be other questions it's in the finance section. Clay and I are moving through these key areas that relate to the opportunity announcements and their competitive review scoring criteria. So these are these key areas that relate to the scoring, not all even with the scoring, but these key questions that relate to that. So in this next slide, this is where you're going to let us know exactly what your grant request amount is for the CREP program. In construction side, that's going to be up to $1 million. Many projects don't need the entire $1 million. So based on your budgeting and subsequently what we're going to get into in the other area of this slide on the other funding, we're looking for that total amount. We're looking to see that in the itemized lists in your own planning. We're looking to see that amount, but this is where you're going to enter in your grant request amount. And then there's another section under that about add other funding partners and sources. This could be energy trust, federal, state, utility. This would also be an area that if you have a partner to the project and they're putting in or already have or plan to put in a financial stake or an equity stake or preparing bank loan documents, etc. This is where you would put that in. This is not where you would put in CREP grant. We do not want to see CREP grant and your amount in this area. You've already handled that in the grant request amount. We're looking for actualities of your project beyond excluding the CREP grant. And in addition, for the applicant, we're not looking to see the applicant's own money here. That is not other funding. That is your own funding that you're putting forward to that project. And if awarded later on, we would be communicating with you about all of these specific dollars and cents. And Clay, do you have anything to add there?
One added point on partners, if the grant money will pass through the applicant and go to the partner, that's fine, but the partner's funding should be listed in there, regardless of how that pass-through is going to happen. If that makes sense, Jason.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is what we're talking about here. Sometimes your partner may be directly involved in the project, and you'll have a local agreement, such as an MOU or what have you, that they're going to be performing functions for this project that would be paid functions, submitting invoices, etc. But your partner may also be putting forward a financial stake into that project. We're looking for that financial stake that they would be looking for, not what the anticipated pass-through payment back to the partner is going to be. And just to make sure if that is confusing for anybody, we are always available to answer questions or get more specific about a project. Just email us the question at our community.grants email address. It's on the web page. And just real quick, I'll actually just throw that up so that people can see that. It's community.grants@energyoregon.gov. And with that, we're going to jump into our final key application question slide for Section 9 finances, and that is describe the applicant's project financing plan. Include potential sources of funding during construction and to cover the balance of project costs beyond the grant amount and other incentives and grants. This should include in-kind contributions or monetary contributions from applicants or project partners. What we're essentially looking for here is that the applicant should be able to adequately demonstrate financial ability to complete and operate the project from construction through the 5-year operational requirement. And one of those key reasons is that it needs to be understood that the CREP grants are reimbursable grants. And I'm going to let Clay kind of jump a little bit more into that.
Sure. So as a reimbursable grant, you've got to be able to fund and get the project up and running in order to have an operating project that then you can submit your final report to and get reimbursed by ODO. That's how it's all set up. And so this question is the place for, in a narrative, that you can describe to us exactly how you are going to fund and finance the project through to completion. And this is the place where you can mention all of those things to support the dollar amounts that you are providing as support documentation. In regards to the scoring of this, the documentation and answers that you provide relate to the strength of the application in the project strength 45 points of the competitive reviewing criteria. So showing a strong financial plan obviously should result in more points.
Yeah, and I would just add to that, in the simplest form, this question is incredibly important. All the other questions are kind of relating to your forecast, your plan, et cetera. This question is relating more towards providing that info as with or without a CREP grant. could you do this project? But with the CREP grant, is that going to, be an additional assistance to make sure this project happens? But we're just wanting to see, what that forecasted plan and ability is for this project to be completed. More of a security question as well. So
One other
without,
thing,
oh, sorry,
to
Clay.
add to that, sorry, Jason, is this is the place to also, if your project is part of a larger construction project, you can make that clear distinction here, right? So in all of our financial plans and the schedules and all the other project details, we want the renewable energy project only. But if it is part of a bigger project and we are requiring you to separate out that funding in that schedule, but this is also a place to sort of explain that and how that will flow in regards to your financial plan.
Yeah, that is an excellent point. Thanks for bringing that in, Clay. And we're just about ready to wrap up here. The other key section here. This is really just want to highlight this, like we did in the very first or in the first application video. I believe our second video, we're just talked about the very first screen you see and some of the key things that you need. In this one, in the document checklist, what we're looking for is to make sure that you go through these minimum documents required for your particular application as these relate. Some of these are required if they're related to your project. And so when you come about that, we're not going to read through. I'll just let you maybe pause this screen and look through those, but you'll see this on your own. Make sure you take a moment both to check these areas that relate to your project and check them after you have double checked that you have actually uploaded and submitted that information or that documentation. And Clay, do you have anything you want to add in?
If this section directly relates to the application section of the opportunity announcement, and we have listed in there, and this is just pulled directly from that. It has the section of required documents that need to be uploaded. In addition to all of the answers that we have in the online application, there's a certain set of documentation that is required to be completed and uploaded to make an eligible application.
And I'll just take this ending moment of this series to remind applicants, this is what this entire series has been about, that these applications are competitively reviewed. We've said that over and over. This series has been covering some of the key questions in the scoring criteria for the opportunity announcements to provide the core and key questions and what you need to be looking for that. And in many cases throughout going through these questions, we have talked about, providing this information in the response entry field on the application, which is required, and then uploading that documentation. And we've hinted at be clear about that uploaded documentation, but I just want to take a moment to go one step further in that it is more efficient and easier for the reviewers if you even take a moment on your uploaded documentation and name those files as it relates some way or specifically to a particular question or the obvious theme of that question, or in this case, to the required minimum document. It allows us and the reviewers to really go through that information quickly and assess that information against your response faster and stronger. So that's just sort of another tip in the program of definitely, again, answers are required on the application for round 2, and supporting materials should be attached and uploaded, and try to be as specific and clear with those file names as possible. Clay, do you have any parting thoughts before we wrap up the series?
Yeah, if the reviewer can't find your information, they can't score it. It's as simple as that. Please go through the opportunity announcements, go through all of our applicant help documentation and resources on the website, and please do all of that stuff prior to starting your online application. If you went through the opportunity announcement, a person could actually create a complete application just using the opportunity announcement and have everything ready to go ahead of time prior to even opening up the online application. That's one recommendation to make it a simpler, more complete process is do a lot of offline preparation and then open up that online application and copy and paste in those answers. Have your documentation uploaded, organized, and referenced in the proper answer online. And also use section 10 on the document checklist, or actually section 11, where you go to sign and submit your application. In section 11 will always show all of the uploaded documents. This is a great place to go back and just double check your application. Are all your documents there? Are they named properly? Have you deleted all duplicate applications or duplicate submissions? Granted, our online application does have some quirks with the file uploading. And so in round one, we did see a lot of duplication of uploads. Well, in section 11, it's easy to see the whole list in one place, and it's easy tools there to delete documents and also upload missing documents. All can happen in section 11. Thanks, Jason.
All right. I think that's, that's an excellent way to wrap up this series for the construction projects. Also, just want to let you know at the end of each of these videos, we have this screen up for questions or comments. You can reach out to myself or Clay about the application or any of the stuff we have spoken about during these video series at community.grants@energy.oregon.gov. If we find or are able to produce an easier way to allow you to upload questions, we will certainly announce that on the webpage or via an email. That might make this process a little bit easier. But for now, you can utilize the email address. And just want to make one final note that in those questions, Clay and I cannot help you specifically fill out or do your application or tell you specifically something that may help impact your application. That's what we have tried to do here with this webinar. What we can do is we can help you with and answer questions about more generalized information on your application, or if you're having a struggle in a certain area. And so I think with that, Clay, unless you have anything else to add, I think we'll go ahead and wrap up this series. Hope this was helpful. And we look forward to seeing you submit your applications. Just one last reminder, the application deadline for the second round of opportunity announcements is February 15th, 2023 at 5 p.m. So we wish everyone luck and look forward to seeing your projects. For Jason and Clay, thank you. We'll talk to you later.